Hey, what's up? Man, it is like 7 o'clock at night, and I haven't had much time at all today to do anything. I expected to be getting stuff done, knocking shit out. Oh hell, screw it. I guess I made it a whole 14 seconds before I cussed. Yeah, I've been a friend of mine's opening up a forum for spiritual practices, and I was trying to help them troubleshoot all day, mostly via Telegram. So between that, and I did get 2 books submitted for review with Amazon. So it's been a productive day, but I got up at 3 a.m. So I was really heartened to see Shroom Day 0117's post here. I'll reply to it, but I wanted to call you out. Hey, thanks, man. Because I woke up at I went to bed about 1 a.m. and then I woke up at 3 something, and then woke back up permanently at 4:15. So it's been a long day, and then trying to help my friend troubleshoot, plus getting all those books ready. So appreciate that comment a lot, man. I really do. And I wanted to become. If you remember those books back in the day called Free Money from the Government or something like that. They used to have job things in there, and I wanted to become a silversmith, and I couldn't find one in my area to apprentice with, right? Through one of those government programs. So I'm totally cool that you're doing metalsmithing and metallurgy and silversmithing. Yeah, silversmithing. So that's really cool, actually. The only thing similar I've done is I made a breastplate out of 16 gauge steel, and this is all cold steel. I couldn't put it in a forge at the place I was living at the time. I wanted to, and couldn't do it. They wouldn't let me. So HOAs and all that. But I did make one of those. What is it? One of the Sutton Hoo Norse helmets. Just without all the fancy stuff on the front, because it was going to be used for fencing for a friend of mine. So I pounded the shit out of that. Of course, by hand. Loved it. Somewhere around here, I still have. I got this 88 cent. Of course, it's not 88 cent anymore. Pizza pan from Walmart, and then I used my stuff to turn it into a Captain America shield for my kid when he was like 4, and that's still around here somewhere. Yeah, he still kept it. He kept it. So, anyways, thank you for the comment. It really brightened my day, and it's been a very, very long day. So, yeah, I was trying to think what this reminded me of, and if you remember the Pokemon what Snively? It's one of the starting Pokemon. Let me just. Anyways, the leaf one. I'm not gonna stop for that. This reminds me of that. It's not gonna be the same thing. Obviously, the snout's long. So I think between that and maybe if he had like some drastic, like Michael Jackson level plastic surgery going on, then that might account for that elongated of a snout. It would kind of remind me a little bit of a. That would remind me of a seahorse. A seahorse. I would have to taper this down here, leave a ring here, and then bring that in. And it'd be a very long snout for a seahorse, but some of them do have long ones, like the dragon ones in particular, that look like floating seaweed almost. Those are pretty freaking cool, and that's what that reminds me of. So I'll tell you what. Bam. Focus shift. Screw it, let's do it. So we know that most of them have rings around their nozzles, and so we want to give ourselves some wiggle room here, because we can do that. I might be able to. You could probably color that in if you're burnt that in if you want to. So let's just go ahead and mark where we think that snout would be. Yeah. Man, I'm tired. All right, so we know where that is because they have rings on the end, largely. Not quite like suction cups, but a little bit like it. And so we'll go ahead and do that. So I guess we're going to turn this into a seahorse. Or a seahorse with one hell of a schnoz. I don't think schnoz is the technical term for it, but it's got to be close, right? So, Jesus. All right, so I think, I don't know if I want to keep this or not. I might want to keep that and accentuate it a little bit and just make this thinner right here. I don't know what I want to do here, but this little hump here, I don't know. I'll probably leave that alone for now, because I can always come back and drill that down. Not drill it down, but you know what I mean. So let's just go ahead and mark the other areas around here where we're just going to have this, you know, red lead reduction. There we go. I had no idea what I was going to do with this thing today. Here we go. Ooh, getting aggressive. Let's leave some wiggle room here just in case. I mean, I'm not above cutting this short if I get it right here. I really don't need to. It's pretty solid here. I think it's going to stick together. But if it's like, you know, looks like it's 8 feet long compared to the rest of the snout, then I'll have to cut it, and then I'll probably actually drill out a little bit the inside there, clamp it down, and put the drill to it. Listen to it cry. All right, I know I'm getting tired. I'm really tired. I know almost nothing about that software that they were using, so it's been, and I couldn't even do it myself. So I'm like, what do you see? Okay, send me a screenshot. Okay, shit. So there we go. Leave this down here a little bit. I don't want to do too much there. I don't know how much of this I want to keep yet. I kind of want to see how the rest of this folds. Screw it, let's do it. Since I want to preserve this, I'm probably going to come out the other way. Does that would make sense, right? Okay. Yep, we're just gonna do the old flipperoo here. I think that's a technical term. And go for it. Oof. So you know, I've told you we've been feeding some of the stray cats around here. You know, not that big a deal. The neighbors a couple doors down do it too. They feed them better food than we do, if I'm being honest. But they still come around and put out fresh water for them because it gets super hot here where I live on the southwest side of Oahu. And so I try to put out fresh water for them every day, so that way they're not trying to drink from puddles that, I don't know, one of the homeless people pissed in or something, because there are a lot of them around here actually, unfortunately. It's a pretty sad situation for them, really. Anyways, but I keep, you know, there's a big wind that comes in here, trade winds come in here sometimes, but I'd be like, okay, the water bowl is empty, but the food bowl is only about half the size, half the weight of these water bowls. And I wouldn't find the water bowls like out in the middle of the street or, you know, underneath somebody's car. And I'm thinking, damn, this thing is like always like flipped upside down. I'm like, what the hell kind of wind's going on here? Because other stuff that should have gotten blown down or something isn't. And so I was sitting out here the other day and working on getting that book ready for Kindle Direct. And all of a sudden I hear the bowl ringing, you know, like I just taken this, like, you know, this like a tool or something, kind of smacked it, but lightly, right? Obviously not with something quite that heavy, but, you know, smacked it lightly, almost like you're hitting it like it's a drum or something. I'm like, the hell's going on? And so I look out there, I'm not seeing anything, you know, just some birds. And finally I see them, they're pecking on the bowl to tip the bowl over because it's easier for them to eat the food from the bowl. So I put the food out here at night, the cats come, they eat their food, they eat their fill. Not very many, some days more than others. And then whatever is left during the day, the birds come over, like mourning doves, I think, and they look close enough to it. That's probably what they are, some variant. They peck the side of the bowl. It flips the food out of the bowl. They don't always get the pecking right, but they still peck the bowl until the food comes out of the bowl, and then they just go and eat the food out the payment. And that's what's been happening this whole time. We've been finding this food bowl like all over the place, almost always upside down, because the birds have been pecking the damn thing to get the food out. So, you know, now you figured the cats would wait around the bowl to go get the birds, right? Because there are like a half dozen of these birds that'll come over, sometimes more than that. I've seen probably a dozen and a half before. They almost count as like a street gang at this point, right? And so I'm thinking some of these birds are pretty small. You know, they're obviously maybe adolescents, you know, juveniles, something like that. And the cats largely just leave them alone. I'm like, all right, I know we feed the cats a lot. I should probably be doing something productive while I'm telling the story, right? So I know we feed the cats, but are we all feeding the cats that much? And apparently we are, because cats largely leave these flock of bird gangs alone, and then they come and hijack the food. I guess they're like Robin Hood, right? and coming to oops, I want to leave it alone. Coming to feed the poor, right? The poor birds. So there we go. Nothing striking. We're just gonna keep doing it. I wish I had a cool story for the rest of this video, but I don't know that I do. I'll have to think of something stupid to say, I guess. Oh, shit. Yep. Color. Look at this. So, so we went to the aquarium in Maui, because Maui was the one island, because I've lived here before. I've said that, but I get new people all the time. So I've lived here before in Hawaii for 3 years. I'm here for another 3-ish. It could be more. My time requirement has largely been lifted, so it's kind of up to me and my boss, right? So let's take off some of this, just because it's a little bit bulbous. So we'll just go ahead and take that down a little bit and leave the rest of that until we know what's going on with this. Anyway, so we went to the Maui Aquarium, because Maui was like the one of the hospitable islands, I'll say, that you can go to that we hadn't been to. And it's because last time we were here, I was here during COVID, and so we just didn't get here because restrictions from my employer about travel. And it was kind of stupid, because I could get permission to travel back to continental United States. Like if I wanted to go back to Maryland or similar, go visit family in some other state, then that would have been okay. I could travel thousands of miles, and that would have been cool. But going less than 200 miles to Maui was just a no-go. And so I didn't get there last time, so we went this time. And I did talk about the fires in Lahaina. It was a really sad thing to see and really see and understand. But we did go to the aquarium there, and so this has relevance because we were looking at the seahorses, and I think there was one seahorse in there, and I'm like, I guess I was expecting that in a place like this there would be more than just like one single. And I'm not talking about one species. I'm talking about one single, like, seahorse. I mean, I know they aren't bred as snacks, because they aren't even like single biters. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't make it to the jerky club. That's what I'm saying. And so it just really struck me, because I'm like, there's like one seahorse. And I didn't even see it at first. It had to, I guess it was cruising someplace for privacy, but wherever that was, That's where most all the rest of them must have been, because the tank was mostly empty. It just had a couple things that could, like, you know, wrap its, I don't know, dongle around or whatever, tail, and dongle. You could tell I work in IT once upon a time. Wrap its tail around, and I couldn't see room for anything else in there. And it just really struck me that here, like Maui, all the people that come to Maui, and they talk about how nice the aquarium is. And I'm like, all right, yeah, it's all right, it's all right, you know. And there's just like one seahorse, and for some reason that just, I'm not even a seahorse fan per se, right? I just figured there was going to be more than one seahorse. But hey, disappointment runs in my family. Alright, so at this point though, we got to start looking at the shape here, sideways too. We got a little bit of curve, we've got a little bit, it does curve. I can't stick it over here, it's just damn tote's in the way. That's my camping tote over here with my ways to, I guess, cook ramen if once we lose power. Because if we lose power, we also lose water here, because there are no water towers. So everything has to be basically pumped, and so you lose power, you lose water too. But hey, we won't starve, I guess. We'll just dehydrate. Nah, I've got about 160 something bottles of water in here too. So, all right. So when you start looking at this, we know this is our main side now with our Snively, the elongated nose seahorse or something, and so we're not looking bad from like this perspective here, you know. Schnoz is a bit big, but you know, whose isn't? And we got the curve here. We're gonna have to try to somehow compensate for, and the problem here is that if we look at how this part goes, I can't necessarily just carve this straight and then buckle this area out, because there isn't really enough here, right? And if I do that, this is kind of somewhat symmetrical with this line, right? The center line right here just kind of curves, and so it's going to make it look off too. You know, like somebody took a baseball bat and beat our seahorse's skull in or something. So we don't really want that, because, you know, dangerous seahorses is just not cool. Seahorses are snacks, you know. So I don't know that we can really compensate for that. We'll just kind of have to ask for forgiveness, if you will, for that. But we can take this down some, and we probably should. Looks like a wart almost on their nose. So let's just go ahead and let's do some. I'm not qualified for wart removal in the state of Hawaii, but if you won't tell, I won't. All right, here we go. Schnoz needs to come down a little bit here too. And that'll put it more in line with this, but we're going to have to smooth this out a little bit. And then it's probably going to be about time at that point. And I went fast, probably because I was talking, well, largely talking shit, but, you know, went pretty fast. I'm kind of glad that we, even if I don't necessarily like the way a wand is going, I still like having direction for it. And we're going to have to flip this over and start looking at the angles from here too at some point. The more important one is going to be here at the top. That is going to be the centerpiece. If somebody were to put this on a wand stand, then it would probably be displayed like this. And so, actually, this kind of looks like a little pouch for a pouch with a tumor, but it looks like a pouch for a little seahorse too. So I'm glad that's working out. So we've got this one almost recognizable, not really, but better than it was. We've started working on this tile to at least kind of slenderize this. This is going to have to come in a little bit, and that's going to be a little bit tricky. I'll have to take off some of this, I think, visually. Part of that is, I don't know if you can see it, but it does make sense, because there's still some outer bark here, and there's a visual difference between, it's like a line that runs like right down to here. And I don't know honestly if that was me. It looks pretty straight for it to not have been me. I probably just took the chisel and went like that with it to get stuff off from the sides here. But we'll have to deal with that. It doesn't look like it's systemic, so I think we'll be okay there. But we're gonna have to start looking at some of these other parts and drilling these into these different angles to try to make it look at least a little bit like it didn't do a, you know, it didn't go to a failed plastic surgeon someplace in a third world country or something. So I'm not going to name a third world country name because that would just kind of be a bit rude, more rude than stating that. So there we go. I should probably stop so I can get some sleep and not make an ass of myself any further than I already have tonight. So there we go. Sorry there's only one video today, but there's sometimes that's just the way the snowball rolls downhill. So we'll just say that. All right, have a good night.